We just kind of threw this together at the last second, kind of. And we'll see if what issues we run into before we actually have to stop going live. Let's get right into it because it was a crazy day, and I do have a hard out tonight. So joining me, as always, is Kevin Tenney. So, Kevin, we're going to jump right in. Colin Kaepernick, I know we started talking a little bit about before we went live, but I really wanted to get this on the air because he changed everything at the last second. And how do you feel about that? I do want to say first off, for the throwing part, word out of everything I'm hearing out there is he still's got a cannon, but what do you think about him switching everything up?
For whatever reason, he obviously did it on purpose because I don't know. I want to say it seems like he wants to tank so he could try to blame the NFL for something else. But you have 25 teams that have people there. Guaranteed they're there waiting. And then half an hour to an hour before you're supposed to start, he decides that they're going to go to a different school. They're going to go to a high school instead of an actual NFL facility an hour away, and then you get 7 teams to show up. And out of those 7 teams, maybe 2 of them actually might need a legit backup. It makes no sense to me. It's stupid. Because, yeah, you look good, but, no one's there. If there's more people there, I just think it's better. But they had something about how they wanted to record it, and they didn't like the waiver that the NFL wanted him to sign in case he got hurt because, it's not like he's not going to sue the NFL or anything like that.
Yeah, because it was a different waiver than everyone else has to sign. Like they're making the rules different for him.
They said it was the same exact one that they got to sign for the combines.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what they said. And then they wouldn't let he wanted the media in. I'm still on Callan's side here. I do think it was a mistake switching everything last second. That I'll give you. I think that was a screw up. On Facebook, our friend Derek saying 25 teams that don't want him. That is true. I think that the NFL, this was just I don't know if you've seen Eric Reed at the beginning of the year basically saying this was just a publicity stunt for the league to kind of get Colin out of their hair.
But see, that's the thing. It's not the good publicity for the NFL. It makes no sense for that, in my opinion. That makes no sense. I just think that's ridiculous because they're all trying to make it like this. They're still trying to make it something that it's not. People aren't signing him because of his last year, and not just the kneeling. That's a whole different headache that teams don't want to put up with. It's his stats, the way he played, the way he looked. So it's just like he's always got an excuse for everything. NFL sprung it on him earlier this week. Hey, we're going to do it Saturday. And they're making it this big deal. It's like, well, you've been posting videos all year about how you work out 5 days a week. All you do is you're ready for this. But now you're not ready for this? That makes no sense. He's nothing but excuses. He sets it up so if he doesn't get his way, he has a reason to blame the NFL. If no one signs him, it'll be the NFL's fault because he had to move it and he had to do all this stuff on his own. It's it's excuse after excuse. It's they're giving you your chance because, you're blackballed and they want nothing to do with you. But now all of a sudden it's a publicity stunt for you to come in and try to work out to get a job that you've been wanting so bad for 3 years now. But nothing's ever good enough for him. It's more of a headache for the NFL than I think. That's why I don't think the publicity is something. I think just bullcrap because it's more of a headache for them to have anything to do with him than it is not to.
See, I still think he's going to get on a roster next year. And just out of the fact that then the league's going to push for somebody to sign him and put him as a backup just because it eliminates basically any more drama for them long term, they think. I don't really think that's the case. But like I said, I agree that I think it was a mistake to move it last minute. I think it was kind of messed up that the league basically gave him 4 days notice for this thing. And that's a whole, I just think both sides are wrong here today. And I think it does hurt his chances, but I still think he's going to be on a roster because, especially look at this year, man, all these quarterbacks going down, all these backup quarterbacks getting thrust into the duty. I think he'll get on a roster somewhere, but he definitely could have handled today better. I know Hugh Jackson, who was kind of supposed to run the show today, once he found out it got moved instead of going to the new place, he headed back to the airport.
Makes sense. But then on top of that also is oh, what the heck was I just went blank. For his skill set, that limits his teams, I think, also. Because unless he can run, he's not that great of a passer. So, like, truthfully, in my opinion, the only team that's really good for him would be Baltimore. That's his old offensive coordinator from San Francisco, where it made him look like, he was a decent quarterback. And, like, the system can't be that much different than it was for him that they got for Lamar Jackson. I think that's truthfully, in my opinion, I think that's the only team that really makes sense to sign him as a backup. Because if you need someone to come in, unless you got that style offense, I mean, he's not a good drop-back pocket passer. So if that's what kind of offense you got, he's not going to be your guy.
Yeah,
it might make it more difficult because you're going to have to change the offense for him.
Baltimore, I think the league's heading that way. I think Seattle would have been a good landing spot.
Yeah, but they already tried it. They're not going to try it again.
Well, they never made him an offer.
Yeah, they did. Well, they were going to, but he said he wanted to be a starter, and they laughed at him, and they're like, yeah, we know you're retarded, but come on now. It's like, we got the league MVP. We're going to sit him for you. So, yeah, that made a whole lot of sense.
Well, I mean, is he supposed to say he doesn't want to be a starter? I mean, just because he wants to doesn't mean he's going to be. Like, I feel like you should want to always be the guy. I don't know. Well, it'd be interesting to see. I know I watched some Stephen A. on Twitter. Stephen A. to me is kind of a traitor. The guy's an idiot at this point. Yeah, I don't even know if traitor is the right word. Something that he annoys me with, because as much as I agree Cap shouldn't have switched the spot, I understand why he did. And protecting his own image and looking out for himself should be the most important thing. And the fact that he did that, because the league obviously, they wanted to control who was going to record it. The league just really wants to make it tough for him to get in the league. He's not okay. So Derek on Facebook saying he's a liability. I'd love to understand how he's a liability. He's not a liability. I'm going to disagree with that 1,000,000%.
Yeah,
he's
and
not.
That's why, and with you saying how the NFL is making it harder for him to make it to the NFL or whatnot, that's another reason, perfect reason why it's stupid to say it's a publicity stunt. Like I said, it's more of a headache to deal with him than it isn't to deal with him. Just let him be Nike's problem. Let them be like, man, we overpaid. Let them do their thing, and then NFL just keeps doing their thing, because it's like they've already settled. They gave him a $5 check and a handshake, or probably flipped them off, whatever. And it's just like, you're done with them. That's why, like I said, the whole publicity stunt, that's just ridiculous. If you actually believe that, then I mean, you're too much on the Colin Kaepernick train. It's crazy.
Oh, I think I've made it very clear I'm very much on the Colin Kaepernick train. But
I know you, but I'm just saying, if anyone actually believes it's a publicity stunt, then it's just like, step back, look at everything, and be like, how would that be a publicity stunt to help the NFL?
I think they're
not going to want to do a publicity stunt to hurt themselves. I mean, they do that every week with whatever, them not following their own rules or whatnot. I mean, they have plenty of bad publicity. You don't need to keep bringing bad Colin Kaepernick publicity to you.
Man, I'm going back to Derek again here. He's saying that he's bad for ratings. I disagree. I think it's a bullshit situation. When this was all going down, there was also a presidential run going on, and that affected the NFL ratings, amongst other things. I hate the fact that people use that ratings excuse, because Colin Kaepernick himself did not affect the NFL ratings. It takes just about, I don't even know if it's possible to truly affect them by one person doing anything. You've had players kill people. People still watch those games.
it's not just one. It wasn't just one person. There was a ton of people that followed and started doing stuff like that.
Yeah, but I still don't think that hurt. I will never agree that kneelings hurt the ratings. There was so much going on, like other
it's not just. It wasn't just him, but he definitely played a part in it. Because when you read a paper or you see on the news like these VFW halls and stuff like that, where a lot of people go to those like bars and stuff to watch games, and they're like, we're not showing NFL games no more because of this. I mean, it's still. It puts a dent in it, but yes, it wasn't the main contributor to the ratings that were bad that season.
Yeah,
it definitely helped for the contributing.
Do I think it may have had a minor contribution to a much bigger situation that particular year? You had the presidential election, you had all kinds of stuff we had going on in the news. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see where Colin ends up, and I'm sure it's not the last time we'll talk to him about this on this podcast. I could sit and talk more. Like, I definitely wanted to hit before. Okay, I got to hit this Dion Waiters thing because this guy is screwing it up for everybody. We pretty much have one big story. Like, I had this nice little thing. Did you get the show notes I sent you?
No.
Oh, well, I had a nice little. It was on the same one as last week, but I kind of had a handful of things I wanted to cover. And then I watched Thursday Night Football, and that shit got thrown out the window.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like, that's why I wanted to bring up the Kaepernick, because I was like, I don't know if we're going to make it to Kaepernick, but I was like, just in case we do, I figured it'd be a short. Anything that we talked about would be short until we got to Thursday Night Football.
Yeah.
Especially when you said you have to be out at 11. I was like, yeah, we might not talk about anything else.
Yeah, and Derek, thank you so much for watching, man. We definitely appreciate it. Hopefully other people can jump on and watch and be a part of the show. But before we get to the Thursday Night Football, which will definitely probably be our final topic, but Dion Waiters reportedly suffered a THC-induced panic attack and gets suspended 10 games. So first off, this was hilarious in my personal opinion because I don't understand. I have ingested significantly way too many
gummy bears.
Yeah, gummies or lemonade, 500 milligrams of THC that you shouldn't ever drink all at once. And I've never had a panic attack. I've had a lot of fun. I've laughed a lot. But this guy's killing it for everybody. When you have stories like this come out, I feel like there was something else going on. It wasn't just the THC. I've never seen anyone like freak out or have a panic attack while high. Personally, I'm not saying it's not possible.
Yeah,
but this was one of the best stories all week. And
yeah, it was pretty good.
And here's the thing: can they really suspend him just for saying he ate gummies?
Well, from the one thing I read, unless I read it wrong, it made it sound like they suspended him because he wouldn't tell who he got him from. Because supposedly someone else on the team gave him to him, and so that's why he got suspended because he wouldn't tell him who gave him to him.
As soon as I read this, as soon as I read this, I thought about Pat McAfee and the story he had about the one time he had to go through customs, and he had I think he said he had 30 gummies left because he wasn't planning on having to go back through customs. And he just ate them all at once. And, but yeah, so can you suspend a guy for not being a snitch?
I guess they're doing it.
Because I know
so I don't know, but it's funny.
Because I think the NBA is similar to other leagues where basically after the preseason, they don't test during the regular season, so they can't do a random because that's all union handled business. I don't know. It was hilarious though, and it definitely made me go back to some times. I have the most patient wife in the world when it comes to that stuff because I never just go, oh, let's just have a gummy or two and have a good time for the evening. I'm like, oh, 500 milligrams of lemonade, and the guy told me to drink a fifth of the bottle at most. I'm like, well, my mind goes, but what happens if I drink the whole bottle? And then Kim's like, don't drink the whole bottle. Goes to the bathroom, and while she's in the bathroom, I just chug the whole bottle. And she comes out, and she sees the bottle, and she's like, Matt, Please tell me you didn't just chug that whole bottle. Oh, I did. And it was like, usually like that stuff takes like an hour to kick in, 45 minutes. It was like 10 minutes full speed ahead. It went south fast. I did try driving to Taco Bell. I mean, I never actually got to the car because thankfully my wife hid the keys. But I was like, oh, we could totally make it to Taco Bell. I was like, then I asked if they delivered. It was an interesting, bad day. Oh, did you watch AEW at all? Did you watch that Full Gear?
I watched a couple of the matches. I watched the title match and the last one, the blackout match or whatever, lights out match, whatever that was called. I watched that. I watched those two.
Oh yeah, the John Moxley match.
Yeah.
It went too long, but that was actually really fun to watch.
Yeah. It was pretty entertaining.
It just went a little too long. Like I was like, all right. I was trying to do this real quick. All right, so let's get into this. So first, before we get into the mayhem, because I know like this part we're gonna disagree. Maybe not, because I don't so much disagree with the. I do disagree with the punishment, but not completely, I guess. Sorry, I'm multitasking again. Okay, so Thursday night, Browns play the Steelers. Right? Honestly, I thought the Steelers were going to win this game. I was honestly like, I was talking. I even have on my notes. Do the Steelers have the best defense in football? Like I was in on the whole Steelers situation, right? Thought Cleveland wasn't prepared to play this defense with our offensive line. Lo and behold, I think this was a good football game. I do think the Steelers should have been blown out worse if fucking Freddie Kitchens knew how to play a game, call a game. I don't understand how you have two racehorses in your backfield. I don't think Kareem Hunt had nearly enough carries. And I will say, Chubb, first running back this year over 1,000 yards. Good on him, right? Great year for Chubb. Huh?
I said, oh, yeah. I agree with you on that. I disagree on the game. I think it was a horrible game. And not just because Steelers lost. Outside of the Browns' first offensive series, like, it was shitty football.
I disagree. I think offenses. That defense, Cleveland's defense
played better than the Steelers. I'll give you that. But, I mean, look at the Steelers' offense. I mean, it was a horrible offense. And the defense didn't help. But it was still a horrible offense coming in there.
Yeah, so I'm going to give you 100. I'm going to agree with you on that 100%. The Browns, yeah, your offense was lacking, and it showed. But still, we had 4 interceptions. I thought, where I'm coming from is I thought the Browns' intensity was where I thought it should have been in week 1 on defense.
Yeah.
Like, they came to play, and it showed. And this game should have been a bigger blowout than it was.
I agree. It should have been at least 35-42-0.
But Freddie Kitchen and his throw fucking happy offense makes me just want to take a piss all over his face. I'm all about fire Freddie now. That is like, you will not get, unless we like go to the Super Bowl this year, I'm not getting off this stump. Fire fucking Freddie. This guy cannot call a football game. You have 2 racehorses in that backfield. A guy who 2 years ago won the rushing. A guy this year who's, like I said, the first player this year to break 1,000 yards out of the backfield, and he's a beast. If you're not running those 2 at least 35 or 40 times a game, you're failing. And, like I've said a million times, if you were to do that, guess what? You're going to open up lanes for OBJ and, what's his name? On the other side. Jarvis Landry, who, by the way, I thought he had a good game and has kind of had a good couple of games. I think it's the second game the Browns didn't have a turnover, but that's fine. The game was over. I thought. I got up and started preparing to get ready for bed, and then I got texts from you and everyone else. So I run back into the living room, and holy shit.
I know, when I texted you, it was funny because I was the same way. I'm getting ready to turn it off because, like, all right, I'll watch this miserable watch them punt, then I'm turning it off. And then that happened. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And then I text you that, my first thing I was like, he should be done the rest of the year. And you're like, why? And I'm like, I don't know if you're not watching it, because I was like, I know what kind of Browns fan you are, but I was like, you cannot tell me why right now. I was like, that's ridiculous. So I'm like, I'm not even gonna say anything else back to you. And well, I texted back. I was like, "Are you watching it?" And you never said anything. So I was like, maybe he's not watching. I was like, maybe he fell asleep because I'm just like, holy crap.
No, I was going and I was getting my stuff ready to get ready for bed because I had to be at work because you guys watch football late as fuck here.
Don't worry, I didn't end up going to bed till 1 o'clock, and then my alarm started going off at 4:30.
Yeah, well, I have to be at work. I'm supposed to be there at 5:50. I like to be super early, so I like to be there by 5. Yeah, same thing. So I get up at 3:45. I was tired as fuck. But yeah, so I hurry up and I go in and I didn't obviously see the live act. I saw the 9,000 replays they showed.
They showed the replay for 10 minutes because the referees were like, dude, there's too many fucking numbers on here. I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, but yeah, I'm just in there. And after that, it's like I said, I was so pumped. And like when you sat there and you were like, why? I was like, maybe you're not watching. So I was like, I can't text you about it now. So I'm like, Miranda's asleep. I'm like, who do I text to talk to about this? I was all wound up. So I'm like, I was like, well, it looks like I'm watching SportsCenter. So it's like I was watching SportsCenter. I was watching NFL Network. And then I'm like, I just got to go to bed. I was like, if not, I'm not going to go to bed. I'm going to have to go straight to work.
Yeah, I thought about staying up because I was like, had all this, like, I can't imagine I got much sleep because I was laying there in bed even, like, trying to play. I was like, oh, man, Garrett's fucked.
Oh, yeah.
And so I 100% do not condone what he did. But I will say there is part of me, a tiny little part is like, all right, they've just relit the flame on this frozen rivalry that was kind of getting a bit one-sided, as we're well aware.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of was a little boring. They just lit that flame back up like a mother.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I knew Garrett was getting suspended. And up until about 10 minutes before this podcast, I actually thought the suspension was fair, indefinite, which means he'll probably miss. I'm thinking he's going to miss 2 games next year, 8-game total suspension. So he'll miss the 6th the remaining of this year, and then 2 games go next year. And up till 5 minutes before this podcast, I thought that was going to be a fair suspension. But I did just see a thing where some guy on the Texans did it to another guy on the Dolphins, almost like the exact same situation. My guess is it wasn't a nationally televised game, so I'm sure that's not helping Garrett's problem. But almost the exact same thing happened. Guy swung the helmet, hit the other guy in the head, and guy got a 1-game suspension.
When was this?
I'd have to go back on Twitter and find it again. But it was on Twitter. I just going through Twitter before the podcast. But yeah. And so I don't know if it was like this year or a couple years ago, but it did happen. So that bothered me that when I found out that guy only got a 1-game suspension. But what bothered me the most, couple things. I think Mason Rudolph should have got 2-game suspension.
What?
Okay, here's why. Myles Garrett is a mild-mannered dude in general.
Oh, don't give me that stupid excuse.
Hold on. But no, I'm not going to be an excuse. Watch the play. Like, he tried to rip the dude's helmet off. If Garrett's helmet wasn't on how it was, he would have ripped his helmet off. Okay? 100% sure that he hit the guy in the balls. And then there's what I've kind of like heard, and I'm not going to like say, I don't know for sure, but it sounds like he also dropped the N-word. I don't know.
I'm just saying, the stuff that I've read, because there was a reporter from ESPN, a black lady, who sent out a tweet, and her thing was how he's such a nice guy, he must have said something egregious to get him to go like that. It's like, really? That's what we're going with? Like, no one's ever just snapped on a football field because whatever. Obviously, yes, he was trying to pull his helmet off. Yeah, that's not going to piss him off or nothing. He had to have said something.
You can't tell me.
That's the worst part about this whole era that we live in now, because you can't just sit there and be like, all right, guy's a douchebag. He got pissed off because another douchebag, and he did something completely stupid. Oh, it's got to be something else. It's always a race thing for everything.
I didn't say it was a race thing. I said that could have.
But I'm just saying that's what people are putting out there, because it's like, he's such a nice guy. He had to have done, he had to have said something to him. And it's like, there's only one thing you could say to him that's going to make him go like that. Unless you're like, I fucked your wife. That might make him mad. But other than that, that's what you're implying. Not you, but the lady who tweeted that's what she's implying. And of course, like, she got hammered, so she deleted it. because it was like, and she said something about how, she just said it without thinking. It's like, no, you thought it through. You did it on purpose. But that's the easy excuse for everything. Oh, it's a race thing because a white quarterback got hit in the head by a black defensive end, so he must have called him the N-word because there's no other reason for him to hit him in the head with a helmet.
Okay, but here's the thing. First off, shout out to Christy watching us on Facebook. I am not saying it's a race thing.
Yeah,
I know. But if he threw that word on top of everything else, like you just start like putting the things together. Okay, try to rip my helmet off. Yeah, hit me in the balls. Oh, you maybe dropped the N-word. Again, I'm not saying what Myles Garrett did. He got booted. He should have got booted. He should have got his suspension. I was totally for until I found another guy only got a 1-gamer. What I'm saying, and I think Pouncey should have been gone 6 games too. And I know you're going to disagree with this, but let me tell you why. He did exactly what you'd want him to do. He defended his quarterback. He came in, defended. Yeah. Totally, I expect it. I understand it. It makes sense. I'm not even upset with what he did, except for the kicking Garrett in the head while he's down. To me, that's as egregious as, or almost as egregious as what Garrett did. So if Garrett's going to get probably a couple of games into next year, I think Pouncey should have been gone 4 games or to the end of the year. I don't think that the punishment was dealt, and I don't understand how Rudolph gets away with nothing besides maybe a concussion.
A huge fine. Because they're going to say he started it, which I agree with. I'm not saying he didn't start it, but I didn't think he need. I don't think, in my opinion, I don't think a suspension was warranted for him because he didn't get it off. Now, if he would have got the helmet off, then yeah, it's a suspension, but he didn't get it off. But the thing with that also is I was watching, it's on CBS Sports, Tiki and Tyranny, whatever that his.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And somebody called in during their thing, and they said they saw somewhere else where they were saying, what's the whole thing about possibly his hand getting stuck? Because, like, when Troy Aikman made a comment about it, I was like, yeah, that's ridiculous. But when you slow down the video, it does look like his left hand is stuck. Because when he's coming down, like, he can't move his hand. And it's wherever Garrett's head goes, it's going in his hand, like, it's hard to tell, obviously, but the slow motion is the only way you could really tell because it does look like his hand's stuck up there, like he can't move his left hand. So after that, I was like, but even that, I'm just like, yeah. Because before that, when you watch it in normal time, in my opinion, for one, it was a bad hit. He shouldn't have hit him. Well, I mean, he could have hit him, but the whole grabbing him and dragging him and twisting and all that, like, that was overdoing it. That was just ridiculous. But, I mean, that's the kind of player Garrett is to begin with. So he goes down. Rudolph starts off with pushing him because he gets him pushed to his side. Garrett's still not letting him go. So it's like, I understand, obviously, you've had a real shitty night, 4 interceptions, you're going to lose to the Browns, which you shouldn't have lost to the Browns, but you're just not a good quarterback. So you're pushing him off, and he's not. And because if you see it, like I said, it starts with the shoulders, they're on their side, he pushes them, and then his hands slide off, and then the one lands on the helmet, and that's where the helmet thing goes. But the whole ball thing, like, I've been seeing that, and if you watch it, they're just pictures at the right angle. Because if you watch the actual video, his foot goes into his stomach because he's trying to push him off. I don't know, maybe because you're getting picked off the ground by your face mask. So I can understand not wanting to keep going straight up to your feet by your face mask. And then they have the picture where it looks like he's grabbing him by his balls with his hand. But if you watch it, he's running around, and the angle from the camera, his arm is stuck under DeCastro. So he's not even touching him with that arm. That's why he starts reaching with his right arm to try to grab his face mask. So he doesn't even touch his balls. The foot is in the stomach as he's getting picked up off the ground and then twisted and thrown like a rag doll, which is bad for your quarterback to look like a rag doll when you're getting thrown by your face mask. So it's like the whole ball thing. If you watch it, you can clearly see there's no ball contact in there. So I'm like, that's the thing that gets me irritated the most, because instead of, I don't think I'd be as mad watching people, like, the memes and stuff are funny, but when people are actually writing about it, it's just like, if you watch it, and it's like, but so many people, the way they're making it sound, they're like, oh, well, he started it. Yes, he started it. Just because you start it, it's like you ripped the guy's helmet off. Okay, I am fine up until that point because he tried to do it to you. You showed him how to do it. Completely fine. But then you hit him with the helmet, and it's like, oh well, he got hit because he started it. No, that's a stupid thing to try to sit there. That was as soon as he hit him with the helmet, everything else was thrown out the window. Because it's like you proved your point. You ripped the helmet off. You're obviously better at doing that than he is. And it's like you're getting pushed away. And it's like, yeah, he's running at you, but unless he actually hits you, which he doesn't, there's no why you swinging your helmet. It's like that's just the stupidest thing.
And I don't disagree with. I don't like. I 100% think what he did was wrong. Like I was never gonna come on here and be like, "Ha, it was no big deal."
True, but I've seen a lot of people that's their whole thing. It's like, well, if he wouldn't have tried it, he wouldn't have got hit in the head. It's like, no. He could have stopped. Like, don't get me wrong. That's why I agree. It's Rudolph started it. Completely agree. And it's like if his hand was stuck, why hasn't he said it? That's my whole thing. If your hand's stuck, instead of calling him a coward and a bully and all that, say your hand was stuck and you're trying to get your hand out before you rip your finger off. But he didn't. So that's why I'm like, it kind of looks like that, but I'm not going with that because he didn't say anything. Unless he's that stupid, he didn't say anything that, for that. So I'm like, that's a bad excuse to use, or for people to try to use for Rudolph doing that. But it's just like, he could have stopped, but yeah, he lost his temper, so he did what he did. And then it's like Garrett did what he did because he lost his temper. And like I said, I'm fine up until that point. But it's like as soon as you swing, it's like, come on.
No,
it's
yeah,
like, he's the next Ndamukong Suh. That's the best person to compare him to.
Yeah, maybe. I like his. I've always loved his aggression. I'm okay with him getting some of those rough in the passer penalties because I think 80% of the time they're bullshit. Because the league's gotten so soft. But this is uncalled for. It's not good for the fans to see. It's not good for... There's nothing good coming out of this. Now, you've hurt the team. You've gotten Ogunjobi. Yeah. He's suspended for a game.
I think he should... I'm surprised about his only being one game.
All he did was push him in the back.
Come on now.
That's all he did.
As soon as he... did his press conference in the locker room, I was like, yeah, he should be suspended at least. Well, I was 2 from the get-go, but after that, I was like, off. Back with his back to you without a helmet on.
He shoved him. It's not like he tackled him from the back. Over-exaggerating.
No, I'm not over-exaggerating. And that's why, and that's the other thing, like, I figured he was going to end that game. Sure. Every chance they get.
So here's a question, too. So what's going to happen in that game? I'm interested about.
Yes, I'm very interested because that game might get ugly.
Yeah, no, I think that game's going to be very interesting with it only being 2 weeks removed, and now like Pouncey won't be there for that game, right? He'll be out for that game.
Yeah.
Because he got 3 games, so he'll be out for half the rest of the games, and that's going to be a big game because here's the deal. Even without Garrett, Cleveland should beat Miami next week.
Yeah.
So for Cleveland, that's going to be a huge game because that could put us back at 500 and be a nice 4-game winning streak. Like there's a lot on that game for Cleveland. Plus now you're going to have these tensions. Is Juju, what's his situation? Because I know he got knocked out. That was an ugly hit.
And that's the thing. I'm surprised with as bad as it was at the end, I'm surprised the NFL didn't go overboard with the way the entire game was because you could clearly see the Browns were headhunting in that game. And with the Randall being thrown out, like I was like, with him being thrown out and everything going on, I was like, they might look at it too much. And I was kind of surprised I didn't think he deserved it. I'm not saying I thought he should have, but I'm just surprised that he didn't get like a 1-game suspension.
Well, here's the deal.
And for the hit, just because I thought with everything that went at the end, they were going to look at everything like through a microscope and just be like, well, these hits were leading up to the aggression at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And here's the thing. I don't understand. Maybe I just don't understand the rule, but I thought you got a warning shot before you got thrown out of the game. And I didn't even think it was...
Not helmet to helmet. They can throw you out if they think it's with the intent. They can throw you out.
I don't think it wasn't like aggressive. Here's the thing.
It was bad.
Here's the thing. It was a legitimate penalty. But I don't think it was like get this guy off the field bad. And I think,
in my opinion, the reason he did that was because he could clearly see the ball was overthrown. Because the ball, I think, hit right before he did it. So he sees the ball's missed and he lowers his head.
but you're saying that because you're watching it on TV. You don't know what his from his specific, his view, his line of sight, where he was, what he was doing. Maybe he had already lowered his head going for the hit before he knew the ball was. There's a million different things. I'm just saying, is it a 15-yard? Yes, all day long it's a penalty. I'm not going to disagree with that. But, like, now we're just going to automatically set him out. Yeah, it pissed me off. Now, one thing you're not going to like, but what I think, honestly, is I think Cleveland needed a game where they came out like this with ruthless aggression and probably ate some penalties and had to, like, oh, yeah, that's right. We are, like, adult football player men again and get some ruthless aggression out. And one thing I don't understand, and this is part of my Fire Freddy rant, is why was Garrett even on the field at the end of that game? 8 seconds left. There's no way Pittsburgh can win the game. Why the hell are your starters still in the game?
No idea. I mean, the smartest thing he did in that entire game was, even though it was a kneel down, he didn't send Baker out for the kneel down.
I would have totally went deep.
It's like, and that's the thing, like, I'm sitting there, and it's like, it's fourth down. You know it's fourth down, and you kneel the ball down. It's like, that's fine if that's what you want to do, but make sure you run the clock out before you take the knee. Like, that's why I'm like, why didn't they just punt it? You sit back there, you let the punter stand there, and when someone finally gets close, then you just boot it out of bounds. That should run out 8 seconds.
Yeah.
Unless they were afraid if they did it that way that they were going to blast the punter, and then if something like that would have happened, all hell would have broke loose. And yeah, there would have definitely been, you would have had to have cops out there to pull them apart because it was so bad. I'm just surprised it didn't get worse than it did. Because I mean, Pouncey did his thing, but I'm just surprised like there wasn't more fights breaking out. Because I mean, Hayward ran out there, and I was surprised. I thought he was going to get a game suspension because he didn't hit anybody, but he was out there going after Garrett and Okeechobee or whatever his name is. But they were holding him back because I'm like,
it was an absolute massacre, and I don't know. This is definitely going to be. I'm going to really, really excited to watch this game in 2 weeks. To be completely honest with you.
What was funny was the one guy at work was sitting there. He's like, the NFL wants ratings. He's like, don't suspend anybody. He's let them all be back for the next game. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, I don't know. That might end up being like a really, really bad idea.
Just here's what you do. This would never happen. But you just start the suspensions after that game. You just go, listen, you guys are good for these next 2 games. But your suspensions all start following that game. Just have everybody there. Because I think it's going to be ugly no matter what. I think there's probably going to be statements by the league about, we've told the officials to be extra cautious.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to make sure that game's going to be, if you thought there was penalties in this game, dude, I think the next game's going to blow it out because the littlest thing, they're going to be throwing a flag because you are not going to, the referees, they're going to make sure that the referees know they have to keep control of that game and that they can't get it out of hand. And there's going to be so many penalties because the littlest thing, it's going to be like, well, that's close, but we don't want Cleveland again. So it's like they're gonna do everything, and there might even be some ejections in that game, whether it's completely warranted or not. I just think it's gonna end up being crazy.
Well, let me ask you this. So I didn't hear what you said. What about Schuster? What's his current health situation?
All I know is concussion.
So he's still in the protocol?
Yes, he's in the protocol. Johnson's in the protocol. The linebacker, I can't think of how to say his name. He's in the protocol. The one that made the tackle on the punt that wasn't moving there at first.
Yeah. He's
in the protocol because he got a concussion. Connor's an idiot. I thought he shouldn't have came back anyways because he even said he wasn't 100%. So it's like, why are you coming back? So he came back where he hurt his shoulder. So who knows how long he's going to be out for now. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing. There was another player, and I'm missing him. That got hurt. I don't think he was a concussion though, but
yeah,
they had 5. I know 5. I can't remember if it turned into 6 by the end of the game or not, but yeah, they had so many injuries.
Yeah,
It was just,
guys are just falling left and right for the Steelers. Who do you have this upcoming week?
um,
Hold on one second. Brian, I strongly disagree with you. He did get shafted if the NFL only gave the guy one in the past. Should have maybe been like a 3 game. That's like starting to get Brian worked up.
hey, here's one for you. I gotta look up who they play. I don't remember who they play. I want to say Arizona, but I'm not sure if that's right. But what if they suspended him indefinitely? What if the NFL finally like decides they want to like have some balls and set a precedent? What if they ban him? Like, I'm not saying I think that's what they should do. I don't want you thinking that. I'm just saying, what if, because I mean, with an indefinite suspension and as something as bad as this, you don't want people being like, I could miss a couple games. You know, what if you sit there and you set the tone? If you do anything this crazy, this bad, you're done. What if the NFL would come out and do that?
See, I wish you wouldn't even put that in the air because here's the thing: the league. That's what the league does. They overreact one way or the other,
Yeah.
and so it would be sad because I think overall Garrett has shown yes he is a madman on that field. He gets his penalties. We all know how I feel about the roughing the passer stuff. He gets his penalties, but he's good in the community. He's overall been good in the league. He's been good for the league. His image has been essentially spotless outside of the roughing the passer penalties. He's not been known as like the headhunter, the perfect kind of guy. This was I don't know what happened. It was wrong how he reacted, but I think it was everyone has we all have like a moment or two in our lives where we just really fuck up. I hope they see it that way because, if they do the ban, it's bad for. Honestly, I think it's a disservice to the league because you're losing a guy who overall is, I think, a benefit to the league. But it really hurts the Browns. Obviously, it screws us hard because that guy was like a cornerstone of this new regime we have. This new, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, new beginning.
Yeah, and so, it sucks. But, I know people are giving Baker shit for not. So
I know that was the crazy thing.
I thought Baker actually handled it pretty well after the game.
I agree with you. Oh, Steelers played the Bengals. Sorry. I knew they played a shitty team.
Oh, yeah, so both teams should win this week.
Yeah. But, I was kind of shocked that he actually did say what he said. But I'm like, in my opinion, I was like, I understand the brotherhood, blah, 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 all that crap. But in the end, I was like, that just, in my opinion, that shows the leader that he wants to be and that he's trying to be.
That's exactly how I took it.
You can't stand there and with something like that just be like, oh, well, he had it coming. What are you supposed to say? You can't agree with what he did at all. It's just like, well, you can't agree with the ending, obviously. Like I said, I'm fine up until he swings it. I was like, understandable. But it's just like, so many people, and that's the thing where it gets me, like, even some of these players, old players that have been retired and defensive guys, it's like, I understand you want to stick up for the defensive guy, but it's like, it's like they keep trying to make it where it's like, oh, well, it's Rudolph's fault he got hit in the head. It's like, come on. It's like, everything up until then is his fault, for sure, but it's like, he didn't have to swing the helmet to hit him, it's just like, he could have just whatever, but I'm like, he did. So it's like for them to come out and be like, oh, well, it's like, were we going to look at Rudolph? It's like, he started it. What else do you want to say?
Yeah, I thought Baker handled it honestly really well. I think you're right. I think he's showing what kind of leader he's going to be and what kind of person he wants to be perceived as within the league and on the team. And you have to be able to call your guys out when they fuck up. And I mean, Miles messed up about as bad as you can, so I don't have any problem. I thought it was pretty fucked up. People were shitting on him.
Yeah, I was shocked by that. But how about Jarvis Landry almost went the wrong way with this whole thing? Did you see that?
I saw nothing.
They asked him about it. He hadn't seen it. He had no idea he knew a fight broke out, but he didn't know the helmet and stuff. And they made a comment about it to him on the set. I can't remember what they said to him, and he started laughing. and they were just like looking at him, and they're like, and because Beckham didn't see it either, and so they're like, hey, let's show you. Because, like, you know, you have Landry laughing about it, and it's just like, is he really laughing at this? And then they show him, he's like, oh, that's horrible. And it's like, whew, you saved yourself there, because it's like, that could have definitely went the wrong way also.
Yeah, it was a bad day. I'm excited in 2 weeks to see this game come back around. Next time we'll be in Pittsburgh, and that's going to be even uglier with that scene. Yeah,
that's going to be... Dude, that's going to be so crazy. Like I said, that game, I have a feeling it's going to be such a worse game, and not like, I just think play-wise, because everything's going to be over-magnified.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be, it's almost probably going to make it hard to watch on some level. Sorry.
No, that's all right.
And repeat and responding to something. Yeah, no, I think it almost maybe take a little bit of something away from it. Yeah, I think I'm already 10 minutes past my bedtime. I've got to get up. I hate. I don't know. 6 to 6 isn't bad. Well, I mean, I obviously don't have to work till 6 tomorrow, but I do hate, like, the football thing killed me when I looked and it was like 11:30 and the game was still going on. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, yeah, don't worry, because every other Thursday night game has been over by like 11.
That's still late, Kevin.
11. Oh, don't worry. I know. I've been doing it all year, buddy. You've been doing it for a week, so let's calm down there.
I know. I need one of these weeks.
Everybody ushering to the West Coast because, you know, no one wants to miss the beginning of the game, but a lot of people don't mind missing the end of the game. So
here's what I think. I think the game should start at 11 here, and 9 o'clock would be awesome to start out west. And I love a 9 o'clock kickoff. Are you kidding me? Games would be over by like 5. Every game would be over. Like Sunday Night Football would be over by like 6. It'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I need to figure out a weekend, especially now that I'm actually getting paychecks. I haven't actually had income since I moved here, which has made all kinds of things difficult. But thankfully I got my honey badger, whatever you want to call her, working back in Utah, sending me cash so I can survive. But we need to make a weekend where I can come up. We can take a day and watch football.
That sounds good. I know the weekend the Browns play the Bengals. I'm probably going to be at that game, so can't be that weekend.
In Cleveland? I thought you hated going to the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, I do hate going to Cleveland, but my buddy's got season tickets. He's been bugging me because he wants me to go to a game with them.
Nice. Yeah, because I remember the last time I brought the idea of us going to the Cleveland Steelers game in Cleveland, your wife made it and knows so many words that was not going to happen.
Well, she wouldn't go. I'll go. I don't like going there, but I'll go. But yeah, she refuses to go after the one time we went there. So
I know I was tempted to go to the Bengals game in Cincinnati because I'm technically closer to Cincinnati than I am Cleveland.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe I'll take a road trip down there. But then again, I'd have to actually have money. And since I don't start getting paid until next week. And I still got to fly home. I'm still going back to Utah for Christmas. So,
did you already get that worked out at work, or you just banked?
I think so. Yeah, I think it got it worked out. I don't have basically, I don't have X, like I was telling you, I don't have X amount of vacation days. I just have what's called flex time. And as long as my area manager okays it, I can pretty much get whatever days I want. So,
well, that's good.
Yeah. Oh, there's my wife. I didn't know she was watching. She's laughing because I called her the honey badger. You know what I was saying? What do they call? What do the girls when they go to the old guys for money?
Sugar daddies.
Yeah, so that's what it is. She's my sugar mama. What the fuck, honey badger?
Jeez. I love when you're talking about honey badger. I was like,
I'm not smart.
For the Texans? Do you like the Texans now, or?
No, the Texans. If I was like the Texans, I'd only have a 1-game suspension for ripping a guy's head off and hitting him with the helmet. But no, because it's Cleveland. They wanted Pittsburgh to win that game.
Did he actually hit him with the helmet?
Barely. Oh no, wait, no. Wait. You're talking about the Texas game?
Yeah.
It was almost the exact same thing, except for where the other guy did like an uppercut and hit him with the helmet. And so it's just basically just different, different direction. But it was like essentially the exact same thing. He ripped the guy's helmet off and swung it at him. And they both connected. I don't think Rudolph got hit that hard either. I think that was a bit over dramatic. But again, it was way wrong.
Dude, but that cracks me up because that's like the funniest meme I've seen where it shows him because he gets hit and he throws his hands up. and the meme sat there. It's like he got hit so hard he signaled for a touchdown.
Did you see all the ones I've been tagging you in?
Yeah, and I've been tagging you and when I see them. And it's like, and it's bad because a lot of them are Vontaze Burfict, and they just crack me up. That's why I tag you in those ones and put them on there. But it's like, I definitely say he's the next Ndamukong Suh. Because Suh started out the same way. Because he had a bunch of interesting, close, roughing the passers. And then he finally had that one big thing. And I can't remember if it was when he stomped on the arm or when he decapitated the Browns quarterback in preseason by ripping his face mask off.
No, it's when he stomped on that.
After he got that suspension, then it just all went crazy. And he started kicking people in balls and stomping on helmets and hitting people. So I'm like, I always thought he was close because, like, I mean, a lot of his stuff is pretty close to being dirty, but it's not, like, not dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, is this going to be the thing that pushes him over the top where you guys got your next Ndamukong Suh?
Ruthless aggression. I think it's good to have an attitude of being just, you don't want to come in our set. You don't want to play us because you might get effed up.
Well, now you don't have to worry about it for at least, the rest of this season.
Yeah, and Freddie Kitchens should get fired. I think he's lost his team completely. I think just the fact that happened is proof that he has lost all control on how guys should act in a game. So
yeah, he got pretty pissed off when the reporter asked him about that, though.
Yeah, well, because he knows it's true. But I do got to get out of here. I'm 16 minutes past. We will get back to hopefully a regular podcast next week.
All right.
But, yeah, I want to definitely get on here and talk about that. I want to shout out to my favorite redhead out in Utah. Thanks for watching, honey. I love you, and I can't wait to see your face. Kevin, you have yourself a good week, sir. Let's get together and watch some football one of these weekends.
Try not to work too hard since you're back at work, finally.
Yeah, no, I'm not allowed. It's a union shop, so I'm pretty much not allowed to do anything. I'm not allowed to move a pallet for my guys, nothing. I already got yelled at.
That's crazy.
Not allowed. All right, man, you have a great day, all right?
All right, you too.
Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, bye.
All right, everybody, that was Kevin Tenney. I'm Matt Pierce. This has been the North of Inches podcast, and I'm missing my favorite ginger out in Utah. Y'all have a great night, and we will see you